Good morning. On behalf of the Seattle Betsuin Buddhist Temple, welcome to today's service. Today, the Betsuin welcomes Minister's Assistant Jason Yokoyama, presenting his English Dharma message, and guest minister Reverend Kojo Kakihara with his Japanese language Dharma message. Please enjoy today's service.
Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddhaṃ saranam gacchami, Dhammaṃ saranam gacchami, Sanghaṃ saranam gacchami. Namo Kiye Butsu, Namo Kiye Ho, Namo Kiye So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dhamma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu.慶州天人職業阿弥陀千両族尊在秘未明安楽国無量武士主金色心上如線のシャマタ行如造部両目上略小蓮華高雅長来弥陀尊面前炎上如満願以降入如千日が小如天空しら高雅長来弥陀尊観
ちうじしゅじゅめうそうほうしょうごんのうぶくげどうまけうまこがちょうらいみだそうむみむくこうしょうじょう習得けうけんよこく小さり役得自在こがちょうらいみだそうじぽうみょうもんぼさしゅ無料しょうまじょうさんだ一生主上が力自こがちょうらいみだそう根体法見知症け前言症状名大座おひざ上尿線のこがちょうらいみだそうじぽう将来小分子権限人図し安楽戦後尊厳上苦行こがちょうらいみだそう小無上無がと薬尿水眼伝よろ一種説法無名字こがちょうらいみだそう非尊仏説無悪名薬無尿に悪道不主任死心教非尊こがちょうらいみだそう非尊無料法勉強無償主悪知識おう上不体志望大こがちょうらいみだそうがせん非尊苦毒寺修善無変了解水小逆前言小上者衛生主上小非行願にしく毒病道 聖祭道於本母大神お於上於あんらこナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモナモ
Summer moon and paper lanterns brightly light the way. People gathering, singing, dancing to the joy of life. Memories of past and present filter through the mind. Feed the heart and feed the mind and dance the dance of joy. Dragonflies and fanning breezes welcome us to dance. Hear the rhythm of the drumming, singing out the chants. Summer moon and paper lanterns brightly light the way. People gathering, singing, dancing to the joy of life. Memories of past and present filter through the mind. Feed the heart and feed the mind and dance the dance of joy. It's the season of Obon, a time to contemplate. Release ourselves from greed and hunger, free from selfishness. Summer moon and paper lanterns brightly light the way. People gathering, singing, dancing to the joy of life. Memories of past and present filter through the mind. Feed the heart and feed the mind and dance the dance of joy. It's the season of Obon, a time to reunite. It's the season of Obon, a festival of life, a festival of life.
Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. The Honganji School is a community of people joined together, revering the teaching of Shinran Shonin and saying the Nembutsu. We seek to share with others the wisdom and compassion of Amida Tathagata. By doing so, we shall work toward the realization of a society in which everyone is able to live a life of spiritual fulfillment. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda, Namanda.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody is happy and well. Last weekend was our 2021 virtual Seattle Bonodori. I hope everyone was able to order food, eat together with friends and family, and dance along. If you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, don't worry. Our YouTube video is still up, and why not watch it, after service? You can search 2021 virtual Seattle Bonodori in the YouTube search bar, or I believe we should have links on our social media accounts and from the temple website as well. I just looked, today's Wednesday, and we have over 1,700 views, which is amazing because, it just went up on Saturday. But let's just see how high we can get that number. Can we break 2,000? Could we break 3,000 views? Let's do it. Let's watch it. And it's just fun to watch. I, just kind of want to give a shout out and recognize and give a huge thank you to everyone that was able, to make that virtual event happen. All the dance instructors. It was a huge team effort by everyone. Also a huge thank you to everybody that came into work, for our food distribution. Food was really good. So thank you. And if you see any of them, tell them thanks. I do hope that this year will be the last year that we have to have a virtual event, as next year is our 90th anniversary for Seattle Bonodori. So I really do hope that we can have an in-person event next July. Kind of moving on from my talk today, I'm sure everybody by now, has heard the story of Obon. It was featured in our video this year and, have heard the meaning behind it. But in keeping with that sort of Obon theme, I thought today that I would talk about Obon music. In the June issue of the Wheel of Sangha, or our temple newsletter, Sensei interpreted and translated from Japanese into English 3 of our Obon songs, Mi Kokoro, Oyama Ondo, and Nembutsu Daiko. I was kind of reading over his message, and he kind of mentions please, take a moment to read, and enjoy the translation. And when I thought about it, I don't know what any of the Obon songs, talk about. I don't know what they mean. I just listen to them every year. I dance to them, but I don't actually know, the true meaning behind them. Of course, you hear Shinan, Namo Amida Butsu, or Hotoke-sama in the lyrics, but in terms of actually understanding, I have no idea what any of those songs are about, except for Tonkobushi, the coal miner dance, or Soranbushi, the fisherman's dance, which is in the name what it's about. So I sat myself down at home before I wrote this Dharma talk, and I read sort of through Sensei's translations. I actually have some of the music on my computer, so I listened to it at the same time. And I guess here are my thoughts. Here's my reactions. This is my reactions Dharma talk to Obon music. So here we go. I guess the first thing that was surprising, but when I truly think about it, not that surprising, is that a lot of the lyrics and, to the songs that we dance to are related to Jodo Shinshu. Of the 3 that Sensei translated, I would say that the most, Jodo Shinshu, to me would be Mi Kokoro, which means compassion. It's the first song that we dance every year after service. We're going to have service, then the dance instructors will leave the hondo and line up in the street for our first dance, Mi Kokoro. And listening to the lyrics, it's all about, Buddha's compassion. The first, words of the song is Hotoke no Mi Kokoro, Buddha's compassion. For example, if you actually read Sensei's translations for that first stanza, it talks about Buddha's compassion is everywhere and for everyone, men and women, the young and the old, And when I think about this, it makes me think of Hongan, or the primal vow. And, Buddha is saying, all you need to do is call my name, truly entrust yourself to me and I will be there for you. Say Namo Amida Butsu, call my name. And that sort of act of entrusting yourself to Amida's primal vow, or to put, for lack of a better word, your faith in Amida is, Shinjin. That's what we call Shinjin, that entrusting heart. And so now when I think about Mi Kokoro, I think to myself, this song's about Hongan, this song's about Shinjin. All I thought about it before was it's the first song and you gasho in it. That's it. And so Sensei's translations gave new meaning to the song for me, which I thought was pretty cool. And so I thought, what else can I learn from what the songs are talking about? So I went on to the next song, Oyama Ondo, which is the song of the Honganji. So moving from Hongan to Honganji. So Honganji, if you didn't know, is our mother temple in Japan. We belong to the school from the Nishi Honganji or the West Honganji. Like I said, Hongan means primal vow, Ji means temple. So our mother temple is called the Temple of the Primal Vow. I've always thought it kind of sounded like, an Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones in the Temple of the Primal Vow, but that is, Honganji. I was reading through these lyrics, and this song, as I mentioned sort of when I introduced the song in the video this year, this song is about being together with our Nembutsu friends. And despite, what the song meant before, this song has always sort of reminded me of like Obon season, Obon time, eating great food, dancing with all of our friends in the street. And so this song has always had good memories for me. But, reading the lyrics and reading about like how people like yukata strands fly, we dance around the Yaguda. It just brings even more meaning, and it reminds me even more of Obon. And I think, to me, this song will always remind me of, Seattle Obon. Every year, we do it every year. It's a song will forever ingrain that this is like the Seattle Obon song, at least for me. And I'm sure other people feel that way too. The other thing that I'm never gonna forget is that it's Ron's favorite Obon song, because we also say that every year too. Moving, to the last song that Sensei translated, it was Nembutsu Daiko, which was written by Okahashi Sensei, who's, I think, in Osaka right now, or at least his temple is in Osaka. And this song talks about Shinran Shonin. It talks about him studying at Mount Hiei, spreading the Nembutsu Renyo, who wrote Gobunsho to help spread Nembutsu teaching throughout Japan. So spreading the Nembutsu again, and then the Buddha and like ringing of the gong, and then the Nembutsu Taiko. And so, interesting story about this song. When I was listening to it, kind of like getting near the end, reading the translation, I was like, I got curious. I was like, I wonder what the other songs that we dance to mean. And so I started listening to some of the other Obon music and trying to translate it. And I mean, my Japanese isn't great. And some of the songs are a little hard to understand or kind of fast. And so, I tried like Soran Bushi, which is not really that, it's about fishermen, but I was listening. It's like Soran, 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 hi, hi. And then something about a guy and maybe like a seagull. And so I was like, okay, I don't know what this means. I gave up. I moved on to a couple other songs. And then I got to Hibiki, which is also written by Okahashi Sensei. And I was listening to Hibiki and I was like, oh, like I actually can understand some of the words that he's saying. It's like slow enough and he's like singing clear enough for me to get like kind of a gist of it. And so as I'm thinking about it, I think to myself, this song is very familiar. And then it kind of clicks and suddenly it hits me that Nembutsu Daiko and Hibiki have the exact same lyrics, except for the part in Nembutsu Daiko that says Nembutsu Daiko, because it's the name of the song. But it's the exact same lyrics, and I had no idea. And I was like, oh my god, it's like two very different sounding songs, but they say the same thing. Then I realized that, okay, Hibiki means echo. Is Hibiki the echo of the Nembutsu Taiko? And then it was like mind explosion. I was like, oh my god, I had this realization. I was like, who do I text right now to tell like what I figured out? I didn't text anyone because I didn't want to spoil this talk today. But maybe I was the only person that didn't know that. But now Nembutsu Daiko and Hibiki have whole new meanings to me because it's about spreading the Nembutsu and it's the exact same song. So I don't know if that was Okahashi Sensei's intention when he wrote the songs and put the lyrics to it, but I like it, and I'm going to choose to think that Hibiki, meaning echo, is the echo of the Nembutsu Daiko. So I think that that's pretty cool. So, think about it. Think about that. But regardless, I would ask all of you to kind of read Sensei's translations and interpretations of our Obon music and think for yourself, what do they mean to you? What do they remind you of? When you're dancing, it's, it could be something that could be very, interesting or valuable to you. And, not to put work on Sensei, but I would love if he translated more of our Obon music so I could sort of learn more about them and what they're about. I mean, I'm sure they're not all Jodo Shinshu related, but aren't you guys curious too? So sorry, Sensei, if I'm making more work for you. With that, I feel like I've kind of like rambled on a little bit too much. So please join me in Gasho for closing a meditation from Oyama Ondo. Dancing together in a big circle, it's Bonodori night. With countless Nembutsu friends, let us join together and dance. 本願寺。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。ナマンダーブス、ナマンダーブス、ナマンダーブス、ナマンダーブス、ナマンダーブス。
Namo Amida Namo Amida Namo Amida Namanda, 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 Namanda. The Threefold Refuge. Difficult is it to receive a human form, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda.
On behalf of the Seattle Betsuin Buddhist Temple, thank you for joining today's service. Please stay tuned for the Japanese language service featuring Reverend Kojo Kakihara. Thank you to Rinban Katsuya Kusunoki, Minister's Assistant Alex Sakamoto, Connor McKinney, Reverend Kojo Kakihara from Hiroshima, Japan, Kemi Nakabayashi, Tyler Moriguchi, Minister's Assistant Jason Yokoyama, Minister's Assistant Leonora Clark, Ayano Kusunoki, Akiko Yabuki, Misae Abiko from the Buddhist Church of San Francisco, BCA Reverend Emeritus Hiroshi Abiko, Sandy Pressman, and Michiko Wong for presenting and producing today's service. The temple appreciates your donations, dana, and ongoing support. Your gifts allow the temple to offer online services, presentations and lectures, maintain the facilities and grounds, and employ the temple personnel. Please subscribe to the Betsuin's YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and go to the Seattle Betsuin's website for additional information on upcoming services, workshops, and events within the temple and Jodo Shinshu community. May you be touched by Amida Buddha's compassion. Thank you.
人参形型し、今すでに浮く。仏法聞き型し、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かって度せずんば。さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みを度せん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に消えし、立て祭るべし。自ら仏に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくば主情とともに、大道を体現して無常意を降参。自ら法に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくば主情とともに、 深く胸像に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自らそうに消えし立て祀る。まさに願わくば主情と共に、大衆を通りして一切無下ならん。無常人人微妙の法は、百千万号にも愛おうことかたし、我今検問し、授事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立て祀らん。仏心とは大慈悲これなり、無縁の字をもって、もろもろの主情を接したもと、なまんだ、ぶつなまんだ、ぶつなまんだ、なまんだ。皆さん、おはようございます。本日の日本語の法話は、広島県尾道市、永昌寺から柿原が担当させていただきます。皆さんお元気にされてるでしょうか？今年のバーチャル盆踊り楽しまれましたでしょうか？私がアメリカのお寺で、いろんな思い出がありますけども、その中で何が一番ミスするかなと考えてみますと、やはりその一つがお寺での盆踊りです。来年は以前と同じように多くの方が実際にお寺に集まって賑やかな盆踊りが行われるといいなというふうに思います。今日本では7月21日から東京オリンピックが開催されています。本来は昨年夏の開催の予定でした。しかし新型コロナの影響によってその開催が延期され、この度の開催もいろいろな意見がありました。しかし、感染対策を十分取った上で、この度の開催となりました。新型コロナウイルスによって、まだまだ不安な窮屈な生活が続いています。子供たちにとっても非常にしんどい、我慢しないといけない生活が続いています。今年は小学校、私の地元の小学校の授業は予定通り行われましたけども、課外授業や遠足など、大勢の生徒が、バスなどで移動しないといけない行事は、中止され、また、毎年夏、6月、7月に行われる、プールでの水泳の授業もありませんでした。5月に行われる予定だった運動会も、全校生徒での開催はされずに、徒競走で何々君を抜いて一番になるとやる気を出していた、長男の修女も非常に残念がり、また走るのはそんなに得意ではありません。4年生になった、長女の里音もお昼のお弁当を食べることができなくなり残念がっていました。結局、6月末頃に、全体での運動会ではなく、各学年分かれての、運動参観日という形で、時間も、規模も縮小して行われました。ですが、去年は運動会をはじめ多くの行事がほとんど中止になりましたので、今年は形は違っても、開催できたということは良かったなというふうに思います。思い返してみますと、昨年は緊急事態宣言が出て、4月5月、ほとんど学校、幼稚園はお休みになりました。子供も最初の頃は学校が休みだし喜んでいましたけれども、休みだからといってもどこかに遊びに行ったり
旅行に行ったり、できるわけではありませんので、数日経つと、そのうち退屈しだして、早く学校行きたいな、友達に会いたいな、というようになりました。しかし、私にとっては、長い間子供が、家にいるわけですから、おかげで子供とたくさんの時間を過ごすことができました。その休みの間に、長男、修女の自転車を買いました。それまでは、ストライダーという、自転車に似た形で、ペダルと、ブレーキがなく、自分の足で地面を蹴って進む子供用の、自転車のようなものがありますけども、そのストライダーにずっと乗っていましたので、二輪でのバランスは上手に取れるようになっていました。ですから私は普通の自転車も、後ろのタイヤに補助輪というのを最初つけることがありますけども、その補助輪をつけなくてもすぐに乗れるんじゃないかなというふうに思い、修女にもそのように言ってみたんですけども、修女はこけるかもしれんし怖いというふうに不安があったので、結局最初は後ろのタイヤに補助輪をつけて乗るようになりました。本当の自転車はストライダーと違って自分でペダルを漕いでスピードを出して乗りますので、修女もとても喜んでいました。それから半月ぐらい経ったある日、ついに後ろのタイヤにつけていた補助輪を外しました。それまで私が、いつ補助輪外すん、そろそろ大丈夫じゃない、と再三言っていたので、修女も結局しぶしぶ、じゃあ一回外して乗ってみる、と言ってくれました。そして、補助輪を外しての練習が始まりました。私は、最初の漕ぎ始めを何度も教えて練習させたり、修女の体を支えて中腰になって並走し、ブレーキを使ってスピードの調節をしたり、曲がったり止まったりという練習をしたりしながら、修女もうほとんど乗れとるよ。もうちょっと頑張ったらすぐに乗れるよ。頑張りと何度も言いました。修女も怖がりながらも一生懸命やっていて、だんだん乗れそうになってきたんですけども、そうしてるうちに修女、目から涙を流し始めて、もう自転車乗らんと言って自転車をそこに置いて、一人で他の場所で遊び始めました。ですので自転車の練習は一時中断となりました。私自身、何回も中腰になって自転車と並んで走るのはしんどいし、最初の1回ができればすぐに乗れるようになるという思いから、修女頑張れ、頑張れと何度も言っていました。修女はそれがしんどいと思って、プレッシャーになっていたんでしょう。私は、修女は怖いけど精一杯やっとるんよね。少し言い過ぎてしまったなと思い、修女にもう少ししたらまた一緒にやってみようと声をかけました。そしてその後、修女はまたやる気になってくれて練習を再開しました。そして結局は合計で1時間ほどの練習であっけないくらいすぐに修女は自転車に乗れるようになりました。修女は楽しい、気持ちいい、見て見てと笑顔を向けて私に言っていました。私もすごいね、やったねと言いました。今は長女の里音と一緒に自転車を楽しみながら、いつかお父さんと一緒にサイクリングに行きたいという話をしています。私たちは、頑張れ、頑張ってと何気なしに言うことがあります。親として子供に大きな期待を寄せたりするのは当然の 自然な気持ちだと思います。病気を患っている方や後輩などに純粋に励ましたい、応援したいと、そういう気持ちは大切だと思います。しかし、それは時として自分の思いを相手に押し付けていたり、相手にとって重荷となっていることがあるかもしれません。頑張りたいけど頑張れない時もあります。頑張ってできることもあるけど、頑張ってもどうしてもできないこともあります。私たちはどうしても自分の目から他の人を見てしまい、相手がどう思っているかまで考えが思い至らないって気づかないうちに自分の思いを押し付けてしまっていることがあるかもしれません。仏様から見ると、頑張っても頑張れなくても、できてもできなくても、私の命、すべての命はそのままで尊く輝いています。社会の中で私たちはどうしても他と比べて競争し、その競争に勝った方がいい、負けた方が良くない、良し悪しをつけてしまいがちですけども、私たちの人生は競争ではありません。本当はそこに成功も失敗もありません。私たちの命を、人生をもっと頑張れではなく、よく頑張ったね、そのままでいいんだよと迎えてくださるのが仏様の大きな慈悲のお心です。仏様の慈悲は大慈悲または無縁の慈悲と言われます。無縁とは縁、つまり縁がないこと、対象が限定されないこと、平等で一切区別がないことを意味し、このように対象にとらわれることなく、また対象を分け隔てることなく、あらゆる区別を超えて無差別にすべてのものを平等に見ることを無縁の慈悲と言います。仏の心は大いなる慈悲の心であり、この分け隔てない慈悲をもって、仏はすべての人々を治め取られるのである。仏様の慈悲とは、共生、つまり共に生きるというお心です。自と他が別々ではなく、共に生き、他の苦しみを自分自身の苦しみとし、他の喜びを自分自身の喜びとするお心です。私が仏様と同じような大きな慈悲の心を持つことは難しいかもしれません。しかし、そのように、いつも私と共に生き、私を、すべての命を、そのまま迎えてくださる仏様が、いつも私と一緒に共にいてくださいます。コロナ禍が、いつ収束するか、まだまだ不安は続いております。しかし、そういう不安の中でも、あまり頑張りすぎないように、お互いの命を大切に、今を大切に生きてまいりましょう。寛容は拝読のご文章に変えさせていただきます。
万代無知の在家始終の男女足らん友柄は、心を一つにして阿弥陀仏と深く頼み参らせて、
さらに世の方へ心を振らず、一心一向にぶったつけたまえと申さん、主上をば。たとえ在後は人獣なりとも、必ず皆如来は救い、ましますべし。これすなわち第18の念仏往生の誓願の心なり。悪のごとく欠如しての上には、寝ても覚めても命のあらん限りは、称名念仏すべきものなり。あなかしこ